Today in Draw My Life, the lost episode of Tom and Jerry. Today we bring you a story that, even though it happened a long time ago, I still remember it as if it was yesterday. You never forget a story like that. It was a Thursday night and I was home alone. I was in my room and I started watching videos on my laptop. Before I knew it, it was early morning. It was about 2 a.m. and my parents still hadn't come back from dinner. I wasn't very sleepy, so I looked on the internet to see if I could find any show to watch. I found a page with a bunch of TV shows, but I was especially surprised by a file that said, the final episode of Tom and Jerry. This show was one of my favorites, and I didn't remember having seen the end of the show. So without thinking it through, I clicked on the link. The episode started downloading, and millions of tabs started opening uncontrollably. I panicked and tried to close them as best as I could, but there were too many. My computer crashed, and suddenly the screen went black. I desperately hit the power button, but my laptop wouldn't respond. A few seconds passed, and the screen came on. Then, the Tom and Jerry episode started playing. The chapter had no intro. Only the title, Tom's Revenge, appeared, along with some violin music. The first scene started with Tom sleeping peacefully in a hallway of the house. Above him hung an anvil from the ceiling tied to a rope. Jerry appeared laughing, squatting, and holding a pair of scissors. He had a wide grin and ghoulish look on his face. Jerry then walked over to where the rope was tied and cut it with the scissors. The anvil fell at full speed on Tom's tail, and from the pain, Tom let out a scream like never before. From the jump, he had torn his tail from his body. Blood began to splatter everywhere. The screaming and wailing went on and on. As Tom cried, Jerry laughed and slowly approached Tom with the scissors. Tom, lying there in pain, begged Jerry to please stop. Jerry was still laughing. He then grabbed the scissors and with both hands and with his all might stuck it in Tom's eyes. Tom let out an even louder scream and began to roll in his pool of blood. The scene faded away. It then jumped to Tom with a scar over his eye and a bandage on his tail. His expression was different. He had dark eye bags, pale eyes, and was drooling from his mouth. He moved from side to side, mumbling, "I want him dead. I want him dead." The desire to end his torture and take revenge drove him insane. In the next scene, Tom was asleep in the kitchen. Jerry snuck with a big axe and raised it to swing it at Tom. Right before he struck the blow, Tom opened his eyes and quickly pulled out a hammer and nailed Jerry's foot to the floor. Jerry screamed in pain and began to spurt blood from his foot. Tom quickly grabbed another nail and did the same to the other foot. Jerry was trying to escape, but the pain was more intense and the screams even louder. Jerry lost his balance and fell to the ground. Tom grabbed his little arms and pierced a nail in each hand. Jerry started screaming from the pain and begged for forgiveness. He told him he would never treat him wrong again. Tom looked up in a surprise and celebrated that his plan had finally worked. Jerry couldn't escape. Tom grabbed a kitchen knife and approached Jerry, smelling his victory. Finally, he was going to end his torture. He took the knife to Jerry and began slicing him from bottom to the top as he laughed. When he finished chopping, Tom grabbed Jerry's legs and lifted them up to eat them. His mouth was watering, and the screen turned off. My computer never turned back on, and from that moment on, I have never been able to watch the show in the same way. Did you make it till the end without throwing up? Let's hope so. Leave us in the comments what other TV shows you'd like us to talk about on the channel. Maybe your wishes will come true. Thanks for sticking with us until the end, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.